Hello and welcome to Always Bored Never Boring. Last year I finally picked up a Shadows of Brimstone City of the Ancients core set, and I am gradually and cautiously expanding it. My primary focus is getting a few more worlds to explore and expanding the Targa plateau. I want to make sure I have plenty of adventures, artifacts and enemies to keep me busy, so I always feel like I have a reason to venture out of the mines to explore. To that end, I recently acquired the spectacularly large Guardian of Targa, an extra large sized enemy pack themed to the Targa plateau. I bought it, I like it, I might as well talk about it. So this pack is in a flimsy tuck box with a really cool evocative piece of artwork on the front that gives you an indication of what you are up against here. If we look at the back of the box, the contents list shows we are getting one extra large enemy on a 60mm base, one large enemy record sheet, and 5 game cards for incorporating the enemy into your games. It's arguable that packs like this are a little light on content, and I would say of all the expansions I've acquired so far, the others being the Gambler, the Custodians and the Shikari Nomads, this is the pack that adds the least to my game. However, after 4 or 5 times of beating up the Goliath, my group were really in need of a different kind of big threat to encounter. The miniature itself comes on one large frame, and it has a lot more parts than anything else I've built for Shadows of Brimstone. Furthermore, it's designed with ball joints and adjustable shoulder plates that allow for quite a good degree of posability, so if you wanted a couple they wouldn't have to be in exactly the same stance. This miniature is coming up to its 10th birthday, but it holds up pretty well all things considered. It's got a nice chunky aesthetic that I really like, and while it's not particularly detailed it has enough going on to paint up. It's not anything exceptional, but once you've got it put together it is suitably imposing. The first time you drop it into a room, there is going to be a moment where as a team you wonder how the heck you are going to deal with it. There are 5 threat cards that can spawn this monstrous enemy. 3 of them are epic threat cards. They have normal epic threat card backs and can be mixed in with any of your other epic threats for added variety. However, they also have a Targa symbol on the front, so if at any point you want to face a themed final battle in the Targa plateau, you could quickly sift the cards to find out those threats that are relevant. 2 of the threat cards will spawn a single Guardian, accompanied by monsters from a separate threat card pool. The 3rd card is an odd one. It spawns 2 Guardians. As I understand it, this is something that Flying Frog have done with several monster packs, and I can't say I'm a big fan of cards that don't work as they should with just the contents of the box. It feels like a cheap way to encourage people to buy 2 Guardians, which I would be reluctant to do considering how many other cool expansions there are to spend my fun bucks on. Fortunately, Shadows of Brimstone does have a standard rule for if you ever don't have enough miniatures to spawn all the enemies on a card. You just spawn as many as you can and then give them a free elite ability. Additionally, you get 2 new threat cards that are specifically for the Targa plateau. Each of these cards will spawn a damaged Guardian, which functions exactly like a normal Guardian, except it will start with a number of wounds determined by the number of heroes in the posse. I like these cards a lot because they enable you to get more use out of your expensive Guardian miniature, letting it turn up as a regular threat as well as a big boss. But also, I like them because they add some nice extra thematic flavour to your games. Was this damaged Guardian attacked by another posse, or has it been running through its basic protocols for long eons, slowly degrading in a harsh frozen world? I enjoy that kind of additional texture in the stories that Shadows of Brimstone creates. Story and theme are all well and good, but does the Guardian also represent a good challenge? Looking at the enemy record card, we can see they have the keywords Robot and Targa, and they are obviously extra large. Fortunately, they are slow. With Initiative 2 they are likely to activate last in the turn, and with a move of 6 and an escape of 2+, they are quite easy to dance around. That's just as well, because they pack a decent punch. In melee they have a combat of 4, hit on a 4+, and do 4 damage per hit, which is quite a chunk. Additionally, their Quake Smash ability means hit rolls of 6 ignore the target's defense and do 1 combat hit on every other hero within 2 spaces of the target. They really can clean up if the heroes are closely packed together. Fortunately, they have the special rule control systems, which means every time their total health is reduced by 10, their combat value drops by 1. However, inflicting wounds is easier said than done, as the Guardians are defense 4 with 40 health, and they also have hardened shells, so critical hits only reduce their defense to 2 instead of 0. But we aren't done. As with a lot of larger, more unnatural foes in the game, the Guardians are terror too, so heroes are going to take horror hits just for starting their turn on the same map tile as the Guardian. And the Guardian has a burning laser that lets it take a free range 12 attack on a random hero every time it activates, taking 2 shots that hit on a 4-up and which roll the peril dice for damage. All told, there's a lot going on with this enemy, but ultimately, as you would expect, you are going to be facing a tough brute that hits hard and won't go down without a fight. And that's before you consider any of the elite abilities, which can give it additional ranged attacks or more powerful attacks, additional wounds, self-healing, more powerful melee strikes, or even an explosive swan song that will cause d6 corruption hits on all heroes within 3 spaces when they finally manage to take this tank down. Naturally, the rules for the brutal version of the Guardian ramp things up even more, making the Guardian even tougher and a lot killier. As an additional point worth noting, if you have the Custodians in play, the Guardian is even tougher, as Custodians have a nasty habit of healing damage on adjacent robots. In a situation with Custodians, a Guardian, and maybe even some Targa pylons, you are in for a very fun, thematic and tough fight. And that's pretty much your lot. Overall, I wouldn't say this is the most interesting of enemies. It's basically just a big thing that punches you and can take a licking but keep on ticking. However, I do think that's exactly what it should be. If you saw that thing lumbering towards you, what else would you be expecting? I'm glad to have it in my collection because although it is quite limited in when and where it can appear, it adds more variety for final epic battles on our adventures, but more importantly, like the Custodians I reviewed previously, it really enhances the theme of the City of the Ancients. The city is supposed to be the remnants of a dead civilization, where only the automatons that serve the populace still walk the frozen streets, but I never felt the enemies that came in the core game reinforced that idea. With Targa pylons, Custodians and Guardians milling around the place, the city is starting to feel the way I envisioned it should be, and that's absolutely what I wanted from this enemy pack. Let me know your thoughts because that is it from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please consider pressing the like button. If you really like this video, please consider subscribing if you don't already do so, and hopefully I'll see you all again very soon. Bye bye everyone, bye bye.